guess there was an award for sucking the most. Her life before Sally had been a miserable failure. She couldn't fail again. She had this situation under control, and she would succeed. Why, then, was she so nervous? Maybe because her entire life depended on this mission, her future as an angel, a purpose that would finally make her life mean something. She couldn't panic now. She'd been chosen by God as one of the elite few humans given the opportunity to become an angel, a real, honest-to-goodness, ever-serene angel. She just had to get Tony to believe in God, and in her, and work on that serenity thing. Then maybe she'd be the person she'd always wanted to be. Maybe she'd no longer be a failure. Maybe she'd no longer be alone. Maybe, just maybe, she'd finally be whole. Tony threw the box into the stack in the back of the truck. It tumbled back down. The packing tape, which he'd only haphazardly slapped on in the first place, snapped. Mismatched dishware spilled across the floor. 2 plates shattered. Tony snarled, swore, and climbed into the truck to pick up the pieces. He was in no mood for this. He was rarely in the mood for anything except Miranda, but these days no one would be surprised by that. Jane had walked out on him. She hadn't even stuck around for the divorce. Instead, she'd left him with overwhelming daycare expenses, a never-ending stream of diapers, and the stress that came with finding affordable housing on a single father's income. A plumber's paycheck only went so far, especially when he missed out on doubling his hourly rate for those lucrative on-call jobs. He'd only become a plumber when his father passed away. He'd been an accountant before, lucrative but with brutal hours. But when Mike Weis left him the family business, it was either sell off a company his father had spent a lifetime building or take over his legacy. Jane had said she was on board. She'd obviously lied. Once they'd moved into the suburbs to be closer to his father's established client base, she'd acted like every minute there was torture. Who knew a white picket fence and a homeowners association were the equivalent of waterboarding at Guantanamo? Once she left him, the 3 a.m. house calls were no longer an option, unless it was a wake-up call to feed a fussy baby. Late-night feedings had turned into late-night nightmares and under-the-bed monster inspections, but it didn't change that Miranda still needed him. Then again, he needed his baby girl, too. She was the only good thing he had left. Tony sighed, set the fragments of porcelain down, and ran his fingers through his hair. He really should be able to let this go. It had been over 3 years now, and Miranda was still a joy, no matter the difficulties of raising her alone. It was too hot to be stressing himself out anyway. He was practically giving off heat waves like molten blacktop, and sweat was a gritty extra layer between his shirt and his skin. He needed an ice cream break. Or a beer. Ice cream. Miranda loved ice cream, and right now he needed to watch her face brighten and her eyes light up. Needed her laughter, and those tiny arms around his neck to remind him why he worked so hard. He climbed out of the truck and started toward the porch. He only made it 2 steps. 2 steps before he stopped and stared at the woman at the foot of the ramp. She cocked her head to the side and watched him with eyes as blue as the summer sky above. Her shockingly bright red hair cascaded to her hips and clung to the damp film on ivory shoulders just beginning to dew with sweat. The faint sheen of perspiration made her seem to glow in the sun. A small splotch of freckles splayed across her nose. She was impossibly beautiful. Which meant he had sunstroke, and this was a hallucination. Tony ground his